There's one huge mistake I see almost every creative entrepreneur make, and it's really this one thing that creates such a limitation on us giving our gifts, of actualizing our potential, and even just building the thriving business that we crave. So in this video, I want to break down what this mistake is and give you a simple three-step roadmap to start to eradicate this mistake from your operating system so that you can just create with more clarity, confidence, and connection and build a business that feels aligned to who you are, that impacts people deeply. So if you're new here, my name's Kev. I am an award-winning furniture designer, and now I do creative strategy. I help ambitious creatives design and build aligned creative businesses. So the biggest mistake that I see creative entrepreneurs make is two-part. The essence of the mistake is that they are not creating for the joy of being alive. I know that's big and abstract. How it manifests is people creating for other people when the you is not inside of that. I've tried my hand at so many different businesses where I'm just gonna make this thing for this group of people, even though that's not fully who I am. And there was always a dissonance there. There's always a dissonance because if I'm not there, if I'm creative and I'm not also the recipient of my creativity, I'm not coming alive. I'm not in my full curiosity and aliveness, right? And I would even say joy. Not that you need to be in joy all the time when you create. I'm a firm believer in being emotionally fluid across all of your experiences and somatic states. However, a great litmus test to check to see if you're on the right track with your creative business is, are you creating for the joy of being alive, right? I come back to I'll use this analogy forever because I don't know why, it's just what I started running with. But if you do custom hand-painted signs for businesses, if you're doing that and it's not bringing you alive, chances are life's gonna pick up on that energy and meet you with more lack of aliveness or conflict or struggle, unnecessary suffering, right? Doesn't mean you can't create a good business or a good life doing that. It just means that you won't create a great one. Now, you don't have to drop that and do something entirely different. Rather, it's how can I find a new relationship to the work that I'm currently doing? I think that's always the starting point that I encourage everyone to inquire upon, because so often when we're in a space in life where we feel stuck, or maybe we don't feel alive in the creative work that we're doing, we think that we have to pivot 180 degrees and do something that's completely different. Maybe, right? But if you don't change the way that you are relating to yourself and to your work, the work itself doesn't really matter. I'm much more interested, and I've seen this just have so much more lasting, tangible, and transformational impact, is changing the way that we relate to what we do, to our gift giving, to our business itself. So if you do not feel fully alive and your curiosity is piqued by what you're creating for the world, it's not wrong. It just takes some push and pull and experimentation and a reframe to get to a place where we can come more alive in our work, which makes us much more magnetic as creative entrepreneurs. And we're also able to give such a more authentic gift to the world, because here's a consequence of when we create for other people without creating for ourselves inside of that. When we create for, let's say, a certain demographic or certain people or certain whatever that doesn't represent the truth of who we are, we're just gonna create more dissonance and separation in our own system. We're associating our creativity for other people as opposed to our creativity being our unique gift for us, right? Now, your gifts are for other people. Absolutely, I 100% believe whatever your creative gift is, It is equally for you as it is for other people, but we can't forget the you. And I see so many people abandon their authenticity trying to fit the mold of what might work or what someone else tells them to do. God forbid, even this is so meta because I'm telling you in a way how to experiment, but at the same time I see so often people say, no, this is how you have to do it. And again, you might be able to create something good but not great, but chances are if you're like most people, you're not gonna fit into someone else's strategy. Chances are what you're trying to create hasn't quite been made yet, the space hasn't been prepared, so it's gonna be awkward. You're gonna have to find your own way of navigating through life. So if you feel like you're not coming fully alive in your creative work and you wanna take your business to the next level, here's your roadmap, right? First step is to deepen your presence with where you are currently. By deepening presence, I mean slowing down and really taking a good hard look on how you currently feel in all areas of your life, but especially your creative expression. And if you've been here for any time longer than this video, you know that creative expression is core. You know, our creative life force, our creative energy is also our sexual energy, our power to create. So that shit is deep, right? So checking in with ourselves and how we feel currently, like a current snapshot of our reality. Tune in to anything that you're avoiding, any emotion that you're repressing, any ideas that you're kicking out, or any thoughts that you're kicking out, or especially the sort of shadows of the looping stories that are coming in your mind. Let's take a moment to give all of those some space. We can't really meaningfully move forward until we get fully present with acknowledging with what's in our system right now. If I try to move forward not acknowledging that in my system there's a deep fear of failure or being rejected, I'm just gonna be projecting that right in front of me and creating opportunities to see that, consciously, unconsciously, right? That's one example, you know, whether that resonates with you doesn't matter. We're doing that to some degree with whatever code is running. So to deepen your presence means to tune to the code that you're currently running. Is this code helping me feel more alive and then making me hold my heart a little higher? Or is it making me procrastinate, think that I need to be perfect before I share something with the world? Or think that I need to make my voice fit someone else's perception of how it should be in order to be accepted? Damn, I know that's deep, but it's true. We do that all the time. So deepening presence helps you attune to what is here. And then on your own time, you can sit and work with those fears. I suggest you invite them to have a conversation with you and do whatever sort of work or counsel, mentorship, therapy, whatever you need to do. Also, my training Embodied Creative Toolkit is a great place to experiment from the inside out, this current snapshot, and how to work your way from the inside out into your creative business so you can have a refined, clear, just more embodied expression in your creative business. Second step is to follow your curiosity. So often I think we get in these little ruts as a creative entrepreneur where we're like, well, this is kind of working, or you know what, I'm invested in this, so I'm gonna do this, sunk cost fallacy type of thing. I'm gonna keep pursuing this. You know, that's not bad. I encourage you to devote maybe just 10% more of your energy to your own curiosity. What brings you alive? And giving space, energy, and time to following where that might lead. When we do that, what tends to happen is we remember to play. We create from a different place inside of us, because when we're curious, there's a lot less tension in our body, right? When we put the pressure on ourselves to really make shit happen or make something work or go make this launch successful, whatever those things are, we can often start just tensing without really knowing it. But when we're curious, we soften our system, our nervous system relaxes, our heart opens a little bit more. We're able to play. And play is a superpower as a creative because we're just allowing our little creative inner child to run free. What that version of you creates, nothing has to happen from that. But just that space is pure nourishment for the process of becoming your most refined, creative self, who is gonna just be so much more resourced from that place to create something meaningful for yourself and for the world. And then lastly, I encourage you just to make like weekly check-ins and experiments with yourself, track how much space you're creating for play, track how much time you're allowing yourself to really fully embrace what is happening in your system, and track that development. See the tangible sort of outcomes of those practices, or maybe the intangible things, but give yourself those little chunks of time, because then we're able to sort of digest, okay, did this work? How did this feel this week when I was experimenting with trusting my intuition, following my curiosity, and trying to be a little bit more playful? Example, how can I be a little bit more fun in my process of communicating with my clients? I need to be serious and professional, but I also want to be personable. I also want to make this experience more fun. So how can I make it more curious for everybody? Experiment with how that might create or might magnetize new people into your life, might create a whole new working experience with the client, or might lead to an idea for a product that's just something totally different and unique that you wouldn't have normally given space to, but it feels good to pursue. A leads to B, leads to C, leads to D, but we don't know what is on the other end of that until we just take a step and track it and digest it, right? So deepen your presence, follow your curiosity and aliveness, and track the way that you're holding yourself accountable to experimenting with these things so that you can see what's working, what's not working, and hopefully just become more alive and joyful in your creative process. I've seen it time and time again in my own life and other people's lives, how this really starts to boost your ability to actualize your potential and to have your gifts be given to the world with so much more of a pure energy, which tends to be received so much more beautifully. So if this was helpful, you'll love the Embodied Creator Toolkit, like I mentioned earlier. Links in the description below, as well as my newsletter. Sign up for that. You'll get all the juicy insights and updates on what is happening in the world of ambitious creativity. But in the meantime, I appreciate y'all. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.